Welcome back with another banger. It's the React Files. Hope you're having a good night. Let's get straight to it.
They have a depiction of these people. They call them the Nomo. The Dogons say that these people came from Sirius B, which is another star that ran out of fuel, and they knew the orbital pattern of the star system. They knew the distance from the star system to Earth. They also know all the names and shapes and sizes of planets in our solar system because the Nomo taught this to them. And they kept this on record for thousands of years. How in the world did they know that Sirius B existed? Because we didn't know it existed until like the 1970s. So we got technology that to see a failed star. They also knew something crazy. They knew that the star collapsed and the gravity mass had collapsed in on itself, and that the star was smaller, but it had so much mass that 1,000 human beings can't lift 1 teaspoon of it. How did they know that? That's physics. That's quantum physics.
Yeah.
So they had an advanced knowledge of a star that's light years away here on Earth in what we call, uncivilized tribe.
For years, I believe sound was just a physical phenomenon. Vibrations through a medium, measurable, predictable. But then I came across something that changed everything. The Tartarian bell towers. A lost civilization, an architecture of impossible precision. We thought they were just church bells until a 250-year-old recording was discovered. Preserved on a wax cylinder, buried beneath a collapsed monastery in Eastern Europe. A recording that was never meant to be heard again. And when we analyzed it, the data made no sense. Frequencies appeared that don't exist in modern tuning systems. Oscillations extended beyond standard auditory perception. Decay patterns defied known acoustic laws. The harmonic overtones weren't random. They matched geometric structures found in sacred architecture, resonating at frequencies that align with bioelectric fields in the human body. This wasn't just a sound. This was a transmission. Modern science tells us that sound can affect the brain. It can synchronize neural activity, stimulate the vagus nerve, even alter gene expression. But this was something else. The Tartarians built these towers with frequencies engineered to interact with human biology. Their bells weren't just ringing. They were broadcasting structured resonance, potentially influencing consciousness itself. And then all of them were removed. The towers dismantled. The bells taken down. The recordings locked away. Why? What were they trying to erase? And if this is just one recording, how many more are out there?
Shoutouts to Neil. For centuries we were told they were church bells. I feel they were something else, for sure.
What is all this? What is all this? What to do right? What?
Yo, shout outs to Albuquerque, New Mexico. What's going on? Shout outs to Off That Central. This is crazy. Real talk. It was giving me some Leave the World Behind vibes. Instead, these ain't read pamphlets, but man, what is even going on?
I came across this study where they cut a leaf and measured the energetic field around it, showing that it's still intact in some dimension. So what does this mean? Does this mean that everything is energy, frequency, and vibration? And even when a tree is cut down, does it still exist there in some dimension, in some realm? Is there still an energetic field around where it once was? And what does this mean for us as human beings? You know, our magnificent creator has created something beyond our comprehension. And now that we're looking into the quantum realm and looking into quantum physics, you know, quantum particle theory and, you know, wave particle duality and different types of phenomenon that have to do with our observation and how matter itself interacts with that, showing that we're in not only an intelligently designed universe, but an intelligently designed universe that is itself intelligent. and can interact with our consciousness. To where we no longer live in a world that popularizes the concept of seeing is believing. It's now believing is seeing. In a world where reality is subjective, faith governs it all.
I totally agree. Faith governs all. Shout outs to 7 Club. I feel this explains phantom limbs, how people may lose a limb and still feel that limb. Even though it's not there, I agree, energy doesn't die. At the end of the day, it's toroidal.
Well, we got some footage coming out of California of a strange orb-like plasmoidal thing floating through the sky. And notice in the background here, everyone is just standing in the street staring up at this thing stump. And if you can listen to the background as well, you can just hear everyone kind of perplexed about the whole situation, right? As this bright light tends to dim down, it's moving across the sky, and then it begins, and then it stops. So it's not going up, it's going sideways like this, okay? Not vertical, horizontal. That's the word I was looking for, right? And then it turns into this plasmoidal orb, and we've seen something similar to this that was in China. If I can find a video right here, okay? This is the same exact object that was seen, no noise associated with it, and it's just carrying on and floating by, right? Unbelievable. And look, as it's there, it's just kind of slowed down. Now it's kind of stopped. It's moving very slowly. Again, when it comes to these sightings, this isn't the first time we've seen something of this nature, okay? I mean, the people are probably going to be like, it's a flare, it's nothing else, but there's no sort of like flare. A, that doesn't make any noise. B, it's not going vertically, it's traveling horizontally through the sky. It's actively moving through the clouds. It's going like that, and then it slows down and then carries on, right? Look at it. That is insane. Orb? I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. I thought this was hella interesting. California? Come on, man.
What's even happening right now? We have fires popping up all over Oklahoma and Texas. We have sandstorms knocking down trailers, and we also have the news warning of multiple tornadoes, and we've not had a warning this bad since I think it was 2011. I really don't even know where to start with this, and I do wonder if the blood moon had anything to do with this because of gravitic and energetic changes, but if you're driving in Texas, it might look like this. And this is the second time in 2 weeks, y'all. I've had 50 car accidents at least. It literally knocked over 4 trailers in just 1 hour. Fires popping up all over Oklahoma and Texas. Hey, do y'all remember this Time magazine cover? It's irrelevant, I just wanted to show it to you, it's pretty cool, right? Of course, we just had 2 crazy wildfires in the Carolinas just weeks apart, with weird anomalous things popping up on the radar I'm not going to show here. And for some reason, very odd, one of the weather organizations just came out on Twitter and they were like, we haven't had an EF5 tornado all year, something to that extent. Fast forward a few hours and they're trying to get people to leave their homes, especially trailers, because they're expecting many tornadoes. Y'all, the South and the East Coast are in for it. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of worrisome. This is gonna be the craziest year for storms that we have ever seen, guaranteed 1000%. By the way, make sure your family prepares for this.
Shout out to Oklahoma and Texas and all the affected areas. It's crazy. They've been talking about this weather pattern for like the past 2 or 3 days. Looking at it in real time, it looks pretty bad. My prayers are with you. Stay safe, y'all. Is it because of the blood moon? I don't know.
Oh, mate, right? We got a plane watching live stream coming from SBGR Live on YouTube, right? Spot something very peculiar, okay? So let's just watch through here and see what we can find, right? So initially, you would have a little bird that might fly around and come in front of the airplane, and it seems a bit strange. But then, look to the right. What is that, bruv? What is that about? Look at that. Right? I'm going to zoom in for you, okay? And let's have a look at this thing a little bit. Oh, what is that? Right? I know what it looks like. We've seen this hell of a lot before, right? This thing just floating past. Metallic ball in nature, okay? Doing what it does best, just floating around, right? No visible propulsion. Metallic in nature. It kind of looks like a diamond shape in areas as well. That seems to kind of be drifting over and around. And it kind of moves like this and goes up and down. I'll play the clip again for you. And it actively goes whoop as well. Obviously with the camera power, but it moves, right? Look at it. That is close. That is a close call, right? That is absolutely insane, right? And we're seeing this more and more. Look at it. It goes back. Oh. Here we go. We're going to watch it again, right? And I don't want to hear it, okay? Even if you say this looks like funny mustache man's left nutsack flying through the sky, okay? It could be anything, right? But it's not. It looks like the ghost from Destiny 2, right? The little probe things that kind of follow you around when you're doing your missions, right? Look at it again. Ball, metallic in nature, okay? It kind of looks diamond in some aspects, and it has a different shade and sheen of colour as it kind of moves around, okay? Dangerously close to an aircraft, and we've seen this a lot. We had that metallic object that struck the plane in Florida not too long ago, and there's a few other metallic object collisions that we've been seeing, and this is something more and more. Look at it, mate! What is that about? I don't know. Go to SBGR Live on YouTube and check out some of the footage. This was filmed last year, around the 1st of the 12th, 2024. Okay? You can see the date up there. Hella interesting. Oh.
Chuck,
Yes.
have you heard of the 5 points of the day?
I gotta tell you, sounds like a Michelin star restaurant. Welcome to the 5 points of Lagrange, the gastro fantasy of your life.
Well, Lagrange himself was a mathematician, and he did happen to be French. Yes, as you surmised. So it turns out, after we understood what gravity is and how it works, primarily through the equations of Isaac Newton, here we are. If you have two objects just sitting there, they fall towards each other. But you can actually put one object in orbit around the other. Then they're still falling towards each other, but it's also moving sideways as it does it. So it never actually hits it. The moon is falling towards the Earth, but it happens to be going sideways really fast. Right. All right. And you combine those two facts, it takes it into orbit. So let's think up a few things. Let's say you want to travel from Earth to the moon, like in a straight line. Does it make sense that there will be a point where Earth's force of gravity on you will exactly equal the moon's force of gravity on you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they both have gravity. It's kind of a outsized tug of war.
I like the analogy, right? So we can stand on Earth and we're not just pulled into the moon. You can stand on the moon, you're not pulled into Earth. There's got to be some point where it's exactly equal. That point is the first point of Lagrange. So that's a balance point number one. So it turns out that point is much closer to the moon, as you might imagine. It would have to be, because Earth's gravity is stronger than the moon.
Much stronger.
You got it closer to the moon for that to balance out. But the Earth-Moon system rotates. So let's think about this. If it's rotating, there's also sort of a centrifugal force in the system that wants things to fly away.
Right.
If you happen to be there. So in this rotating system, on the other side of the moon, there is a point where the Earth-Moon rotating system is flinging that in such a way that its urge to fall towards the Earth and the moon is balanced by the centrifugal force to have it fly away. There's a spot where you can find that spot, calculate where that spot is, and if you have it revolve around the system in the same way the moon is, you will feel the centrifugal force push you away and the gravitational force pull you in, and you're balanced.
So let me ask you this then.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure this out. So on that outer point, is it taking into account the gravity of the Earth too?
Yes.
Or is it? It is.
Both the Earth and the moon are trying to pull it in the same line.
Same direction.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. Not only is that point L2 on the other side of the moon, you might guess there's a counterpart to that point on the other side of the Earth. So now we've got L1 between Earth and the moon, L2 beyond the moon, L3 beyond the Earth. These are Lagrange points where all the forces balance.
C'est magnifique.
It might be the flavor ballad. 2 more points. We covered 3 out of 5. One is ahead of the moon in its orbit, and one trails the moon in its orbit. Those 2 Lagrange points are special because they are stable. Think this through. Look at L1. If the point between Earth and the moon is where they balance, suppose I just give you a little nudge in one direction or the other. What happens?
Well, then you're moving out of there.
You are balanced at the top of a gravitational hill.
Right.
Same is true for L2 and L3. Where Whereas L4 and L5, if you put something there and nudge it, it stays. That's like the difference between balancing a marble at the top of a hill and balancing a marble at the bottom between two hills. The top of the hill, the gust of air will send it over the side. A gust of air, when it's at the bottom between two hills, it'll move, but it'll go right back
Comes
to where
right
it
back.
was. The L5 Society, you may have heard of it from decades ago, is a group of people who wanted to colonize space. They were going to build a space habitat at L5.
Very Illuminati of them.
Yes, it was. Let's escape. Any pair of objects have these Lagrangian points. Any pair. The Earth and the Sun have Lagrangian points. So there's a Lagrangian point between Earth and the Sun, and one beyond the Earth and one beyond the Sun, just like there was with the Earth and the Moon.
The Earth and the Moon.
The one beyond the Earth is 1,000,000 miles from Earth. That's where we put the James Webb Space Telescope, because at that location, Earth eclipses the Sun, preventing the sunlight from streaming onto these very sensitive detectors that's trying to find very dim, very cool objects in the outer universe.
That was exactly blue. Thank God. It was absolutely delicious.
Shout outs to Neil. His homeboy looked blazed. Falling sideways is a good start, but Lagrange points at a whole new level to cosmic stability. Very interesting. The other side of the moon. What would be the other side of Earth?
Venus just smaller and closer and in front of the moon right here? Or is the moon transparent and we're seeing through it to Venus? This photograph was taken last week. It is Venus through the moon. Through the moon. It reminds us of certain patterns on flags we've seen before. I figured everyone would be covering this, so I didn't bother. But I haven't seen anyone covering it yet. But either Venus is little bitty and in front of the moon, or the moon is just transparent and we're seeing Venus through the moon, which we should never be able to see Venus anyway. It's orbiting closer to the sun, supposedly, and anytime it's night, we're on the side facing away from the sun, right? In this model. So Venus is orbiting closer. It'll always be behind the ball of Earth. So that's at least 2 impossibilities in one photo. How many more impossibilities can you think about when it comes to the heliocentric model of Earth?
I'm gonna say it may prove that it's plasma. You never know. Shout out to 7 Club. 2 impossibilities in one photo. It should make you question a lot.
A tic-tac shaped UFO object has been spotted by the NASA Mars Curiosity rover, and this is a photo that comes from 2020, and I'm going to show you where this object is, okay? Pay attention around this area here, right? Let's have this photo you can find on NASA's official website, and I'll leave some links down below so you guys can check it out for all the data and things of that nature. So check the link and have a look for yourself. Now, looking in that specific area that I told you, okay, what does this look like, right? There's a shadow being cast there. The thing's actively floating in the air. What does it look like to you? I'm not sure. To me, it looks like a tic-tac shaped object, and I'm going to upscale it again for you real quick. Here's the object upscaled to kind of get more of an idea of what we're seeing, okay? Obviously, it's going to smooth out the object for what it is, but again, still a shadow there, still a weird shaped thing in nature there. I'm not sure, okay? Again, this is from March in 2020, or March 3rd, and it's just a very peculiar object, and to see this on the NASA's official website is hella interesting. And for those of you that know me, right, we've been researching lots of these weird images, and we found a lot of weird, anomalous things spotted in all of these photos, okay? And it begs the question, what is going on there? And here's the original photo again, just kind of zoomed in, no sort of doctoring. Again, it looks shiny. It's pill-shaped in nature. It's casting a shadow along the floor. This thing, by the looks of it, is floating. Explain that on Mars. I don't know, man. You guys check the links down below. NASA, what is going on, bruv? Let us know.
Let me tell you about the rabbit hole I just went down with trying to figure out this Mountain Dew conspiracy. Because it started out like normal, just trying to figure out what flavor of released on what date that correlates with what event happening. And I started with Code Red Mountain Dew coming out in May of 2001, and then in September of 2001, we have a Code Red event. Then, in 2004, Pitch Black comes out. It is also re-released in 2016 and released again in 2023. 2004, there's a cyber attack. In 2016, there's a slightly larger cyber attack. And then in 2023, there's another cyber attack. That could just be coincidental because, you know, hackers be hacking. but also Star Spangled Splash came out the same year that the Francis Scott Key Bridge is destroyed. That's pretty big coincidence. And that brought me to Maui Burst, which is where everything went off the rails, which is a massive conspiracy in and of itself. I'm not saying that anybody had any prior knowledge to the fires being started or happening. I'm just saying that it's pretty coincidental that Oprah would hire a wildfire suppression team to protect her property from wildfires a week or two before the fires even started. That's coincidence. But if you search the Maui wildfires today, you'll find out that the sheriff of Maui, you know who I'm talking about, he's the guy that all those people by blocking off the road so they couldn't escape the wildfires. But anyway, he's also the guy that was the sheriff of Las Vegas during the Las Vegas shooting. That's a coincidence. But turns out he's been implicated in the Diddy case, because apparently he allegedly destroyed evidence connected to the Diddy case when he was the head of Diddy's security. This guy's got a pretty impressive career. But if what they allege is true, and he did work for Diddy and destroyed evidence, then is Diddy thus connected to the Las Vegas event? And if he's connected to that event, he's also connected to Oprah. So, could Diddy be the one that Stephen Paddock was trying to set up in Las Vegas during that arms deal that went wrong, and then the sheriff tried to cover it up and make it look like that mass shooting? Because I mean, because we know when the SWAT team originally went in the room, all of the windows were intact, and then, like, the sheriff would definitely have access to that room. He could have just gone in and been like, oh, I busted it, and everybody knows that Diddy's connected to Oprah, so could Diddy have put Oprah in contact with this sheriff so she could transfer him to Maui to make sure that her plans go according to plan? Because Diddy had his hands in everything. Allegedly had his hands in everything.
Entire Midwest is being absolutely destroyed right now by everything you can even think of. Tornadoes are just destroying neighborhoods, fire, smoke. We'll get back to the tornadoes, by the way, which system is moving all the way to the East Coast in 1 minute. So this was Oklahoma at 7 p.m. This is all that they see. And it's not just the sandstorm and wind. Now there's like 3 or 4 different states that are all on fire right now. And funny and completely irrelevant news, one of the commenters told me that Google had just bought a whole bunch of land in Oklahoma. Can you see that giant tornado right behind me? Again, completely irrelevant. Just wanted to show you guys that what you're seeing right now is the radar from today, March 14th. Not related though, I thought it was cool. And this right behind me, I believe, is Tulsa, Oklahoma. This is what it normally looks like right here. And that's what it looked like today. And the thing, people still have the nerve to try to say this stuff is normal. People that don't live here say it's normal, but the people that do live here, they say it's not normal. My friend had to evacuate just a few hours ago. The Villa Ridge in Missouri, the entire place destroyed. And the crazy part about this right here, what you're seeing right behind me, the same exact system is moving all the way to the East Coast. So yeah, it'll go over all of our different states. Stop there! Why do y'all think it's so bad? Let me know your thoughts below.
And that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed tonight's rabbit hole. If you enjoyed this video, why don't you check this video right here? Thanks again. Till next time.